Alright, hello guys, welcome back to AD Talks. Didn't do it last week because honestly I'm feeling drained. But today we have... I actually forgotten your character's name already, so I'll let you introduce yourself.
Well,
How
this is off to
dare
a
you!
rick-rolling start.
Yeah,
Talenthiel Sunshard,
from the
GM of
Sanguine Eye, right?
Sanguinai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I know the guild. I know the guild.
Also
It's
known
just the
as
character
Alex,
name.
for the sake of this.
Just ask Katie, I'm just terrible with elf names in general.
How could you? Oh my goodness.
But Talenthiel's been here for like 12 years
Yeah,
or
well,
Sat in the sideline waiting for this moment, waiting for my shining opportunity to be on AD
and it's
Talk.
all
This
blown.
is how it starts.
Alright, yeah, well,
Oh man.
welcome aboard. As you know, at the end of each month we tend to do a spotlight on the guild and the events up and coming. So of course, as you've already heard, the first one we're doing of this year is Sanguine Eye.
Penguin Eye.
Let me pull up these.
Which is one of the oldest and longest standing guilds
Yeah,
on the Horde side in Argent.
I can't
It's been
speak.
here longer than I've been here.
Yeah. Well, it has been a hot minute, shall we say. I can't speak for outside of the Blood Elf community, though, because I'm literally so closed off to everything else that's happening. But yes, in the Blood Elf community, we're one of the older ones, along with BKG, because Blood Knight Guards had several iterations. So we're kind of there with them, I think, in terms of being old people who you just can't shake off. Can I swear, by the way?
yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I have a potty mouth and I just need to be prepared.
Yeah, you can swear. I swear. Just no racial slurs because we know how Twitch
Oh,
deals
trust
with
me.
that.
No, never from me, don't worry.
Okay, good. I mean, obviously we can just start with you telling us a little bit about your guild, you know, how you came about with it, how it's gone on to progress through all these many years, as Katie has pointed out.
Tell us the history
Yeah.
of the Sanguine Eye.
Well, from the beginning. Right.
Illustrious history.
So I'm actually not the founder. I wasn't the person who made the Sanguinai. The Sanguinai, I think, was actually around before I came to AD. My first character was a very blood elfy named character called Himishi. Yeah. Who I started with the Blood Knight City Guard with. The
Fun
Sanguinai.
fact, she flipped
Yes.
my character over her head one time.
Yes. Many a character, actually. Himishi took no prisoners, except she did. But the founder of the guild was Arafirian. He deserves all the credit for creating it, along with Feyrazan. And the concept, it was kind of an offshoot from the Sunwarders Guild. And the concept was kind of a more traditionalist Blood Elf guild that echoed how they were in the Burning Crusade. Because at this stage, it was late Wrath, the Lich King, approaching Cataclysm. Arafirian handed down the mantle later to Sarathas. Sarathas handed down the mantle later after he died. It's a lot of death in the guild leadership history of the Eye. To Solarian, the Solarian handed it down to Talenthiel, who later killed Solarian, but we won't get into that. It's a long,
Did
lots
he
of
not kill
murder.
them all? I wouldn't.
But I've not been killed yet. Trust and believe.
Soon
then-
though, right?
Yes. The sword is hanging over my head at all times. But then I take it over as Talenthiel. That was about 7.5 years ago. The Eye's about 9 years old, so it was about 1.5 years, close to 2 years old at this stage. And I've been GM ever since for the past 7.5 years because I just can't seem to quit it.
That's quite
I'm
a long
stubborn.
time to be running a guild, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Especially a role-playing one.
Is it
yeah.
only 7.5 years?
For me, being GM, yes.
I thought it was
About
longer.
7.5 days.
I never knew any of the old. I knew the story, but I never knew any of the older GMs. But Oath's turning 6 in April, so I thought it was longer than that.
Well, the Eye has been around longer for sure, but I was an officer in the Eye before Solarian handed it down to me.
Alright, maybe that was just a case of I always just assumed you were the boss.
Tal was the one who was going around causing mischief quite a lot at that stage, that's true. Then he got the GM position and had to kind of rein it in. But the Sanguini's concept has stayed very the same. A lot of people have kind of identified it as it's a Sun Fury-esque guild, but I think the way I'd characterize it now is the Sanguinai is a guild of Blood Elves who very much represent what the Blood Elves embodied in Burning Crusade. In characterly, these are elves who haven't moved on. They haven't really gone with the times with how Liadrin has moved it on, how society's moved on. they've stuck very true to that kind of Burning Crusade. We're invading Outland. We're coming to take the power. We'll stand alone mindset. So they're very pro-fel. They're actually very pro-most magic except necromancy. That is a taboo, just because obviously
That's
the fall
where
and
the line
everything.
is.
Oh yeah, because of the fall, and they hate Sylvanas because of it as well. But even the Void, they were fine with until public decree was, hold on, no, the sun was going to blow up. To which Talenthiel would say, let it. But anyway, so they are very true to that kind of idea of, we're blood elves, we love power. Power is ours to take, we don't ask for it. So they're opposed to kind of people who pray or look up to the light or the Naru, very anti that. We stand alone. They like doing their operations alone. Blood elves being independent, though in cooperation now with the Nightborn. They're very fond of the Nightborn because of just how similar their two peoples are. And Suramar's a gorgeous city. We wouldn't mind inheriting some of that.
Trying to get it in the will, are you?
Oh, exactly. Just like, please, Miss First Arcanist.
That
I've been so good to you.
rightfully belongs to the Night Elves.
Ew! Look, they've lost their city. They
Hand it
can't come
over.
claiming any of ours. They should have built it.
Our cities.
They should have built it with something other than wood, okay? That was the fault in their plan building Joseph.
Whoa. Didn't know you were going to come over and burn it.
Well, we went there. But yeah, so in that sense, Sanguinite, we toe the line with regards to the Horde, but they don't like the Horde at all. They're very opposed to the idea of being beholden to a war chief. They like the idea of the Blood Elves and the Nightborn being independent and
Highly
sticking to
patriotic.
themselves. Very patriotic, yeah. Very much about Silvermoon, about Quel'Thalas, about the elves being the kind of the strong presence in Azeroth that they are, and not being beholden to someone like Garrosh or Vol'jin or Sylvanas. In the similar sense, they would hate to be in the Alliance. It's neither side is in the Sanguini's viewpoint a good one.
So they want to create basically an elven empire.
Well, the Night Elves aren't welcome.
Yeah, well, that's because we're better than you.
Oh, now come on.
Oh man.
So, Blood Elf Pride talk? No, there's no Blood Elf Pride from me.
That's
Sorry, Simon.
You're outnumbered
worry.
though tonight, Fuse.
Shh.
Oh,
Talenthiel
back
hates
up.
gold-eyed elves as well. Not doesn't hate them.
Yeah, but I hold the power.
they
I
look
can shut
good.
this down.
It's true, he does.
I mean, obviously you weren't the creator of the guild, so what was your intent with the guild when it got into your hands?
Well, kind of, when it came to me, Solarian stepped down in character.
Did you change it any as well?
I'd say so, yeah. I think the Sanguinai initially was a lot more kind of hardline, a lot more like, we're in Silvermoon, we want our way, we're going to cause trouble. Talenthiel, the previous leaders were all Blood Knights as well, so there was a bit of a more of a heavy-handed approach. Talenthiel kind of took it a slight more sneaky kind of in its route, and was more welcome to people who were on the idea, kind of, and then bring them into the fold. So the Sanguini's membership kind of grew when I took it on. Took away some of the less approachable aspects of it, where it was very like, they were basically causing havoc in the streets at times. Tal was a bit more reined in. He even reined in himself, because he was having a lot of fights with the Kirin Sin at that time as well, who are this kind of Blood Elf wing of the Kirin Tour. So he had to pull himself in a bit with that as well. And there was a lot more city-based in its RP, whereas I love DMing campaigns. A big part of the Sanguinai would be the campaigns, I'd say. I've been DMing since as long as I've been a GM. And I have some amazing DMs in the guild as well. Big shout out to Silvos, who's the second in command of the Eye, and also like the person who helped plan, run, and do all the campaigns with me. But we also,
Friends, if you're thinking about joining this Sanguinai as well, check out their website. Do you have a link for that, Alex? If you could drop it in chat.
the AA one or the forum one?
Do your actual website, because they do have like this big archives of all the like different things they've picked up on all their campaigns and all of the campaigns and the big bad. It's actually a pretty interesting and impressive and intimidating read.
Let it be known, I am terribly not up to date with it. I do plan on doing a big update soon, but right now it's like it ends about towards the end of Legion. We've had plenty of stuff since then. I just haven't got to updating it. But yes, so we have long-standing villains, enemies, allies, people we've defeated, people who are still lasting. We have this wonderful enemy, Alaron Summerdrake, who's a high elf ranger and a leader of a similar kind of hardline elf. But on Alliance side, so high elves and void elves, we're going to be fighting him plenty this expansion. Lots of Alliance characters that we've worked with who we're now at odds with because of the way things are. But I do love my long DM stories. I love having long-standing enemies for people to have real emotional responses to, really making the best use of zones. It's probably as big a passion for me as running the guild is running the campaigns. I adore them. I really love doing them, especially when the feedback's good. I'm a glutton for praise. It has to be said.
Alright. I think the Myrmidons share that in a similar aspect, where we like to do our campaigns and have long-standing NPC enemies and sorts of like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to go and move on to the next question, but if you want to add more. How long has your guild been around? Well, you've pretty much explained. Was it 7 years or?
7 years for him.
No, 7 years for you. So
7 or 8 for me. About 9, maybe a little more in total. Yeah, it was kind of Wrath of the Lich King, late Wrath, that it came around. So it's an old guild with Arathirian as the founder.
I don't think I've ever actually heard of a guild that's been around that long, personally.
Yeah.
What does your recruitment involve then? I mean, has it changed as well in its aspects throughout its creation?
I've never been a huge fan of the OOC recruitment systems. They're totally sensible and they make sense and they're good. But I've always been more fond of very hard IC recruitment.
Yeah.
So when we're open, it's usually an interview process with one of the officers. It's the Oathbinders and above, who are kind of like the... so we have Talenthiel as Overseer, Silvos is second in command as Bloodlord, and then we have the Oathbinders, who are Alviada, Orivian, and Leiloriel Dawncaster. And we're the kind of recruitment officers.
Yeah.
So we do about interviews that can last anything between 2 to 4 hours. And one of the big things we're looking at is, do you match the ideology of the eye? Because it's a very ideology-based guild.
Yeah.
People who are kind of not really, even if they're very important, like they're powerful individuals, Blood Knight Masters, powerful Magisters, we still wouldn't take them because you need to have a firm foot in the idea of what the Sanguine Eye is. And even if you're kind of initiative or you're an apprentice or someone who's wanting to learn, would rather take that in than someone who's incredibly good but doesn't really match what we're looking at in terms of the Eye's ideology. So we do a recruitment process with the interview. We usually take you in afterwards or have a bit of a consideration, in which case we'll tell you when to contact us again and we'll have an answer, I see. And then you have a loyalist's trial. The loyalist is basically the beginner rank.
Yeah.
And that can last anything from 2 weeks to several months until you're deemed worthy of taking the Blood Oath. So one of the old aspects of the Eye, which Talenthiel Solarian brought in and Talenthiel carried on with, so Solarian was the overseer before Tal, is the Blood Oath. So you cut your hand and you swear on the blood that's drawn to the Sanguine Eye, to Talenthiel, to the kingdom, to Quel'Thalas, that you will serve, and you will serve loyally until you are dismissed or allowed to cease your service. Otherwise, you're then a traitor. So that's one of the things that loyalists aspire to get. And once you've got that, you're an Oathsworn. That's a kind of solid member rank.
All right. I keep having my stuff vanish. I can hear it. How do you decide if a character is fit for your guild then, after the whole loyalist process?
So they probably would have been on a campaign in that time. And in that way, we get to see a good idea of who they are, both in character and out of character. Obviously, if we recruit in someone and out of character, they're just not fitting in, then we would fail the IC half of the recruitment as well. But if they're getting along fine and their character is showing initiative, is respectful of the kind of the in-character hierarchy, is showing that they do stand by what we represent and they're pulling their weight in whatever way they're expected to. So obviously an apprentice might not pull as hard as a magister, but they're pulling their weight, then they'll be deemed worthy of the blood oath, and they'll take it. Some people will be like, hold on, I've got to do what? It's usually made clear that we require you to cut your hand and say some words that make you bound to the leader.
I'm pretty sure Alex was one of those people.
Have you had someone decide to back off of that?
Have we ever had anyone
Decide to back off the blood oath?
Yes, we've had people be like, you know what? No, this is a bit too culty for my taste.
We have we have something similar with the Myrmidon, where it binds you to a ship once you become sworn.
To the ship?
Yeah, it's like a living ship, basically.
Oh, is that the one? Like it's druidic magic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And obviously you can back off that, but you will never be considered as part of the actual inner core of the crew, because they share this sort of connection.
Mm-hmm. I love things like that. Obviously, it doesn't always work out great if you get lots of people being like, no, screw the oath, I'm off. But I think it adds a nice aspect to it, kind of like you are signing on to something. This is serious now. Like you need to be dedicated to take that step.
Yeah. I'd reckon it's easier to step out of this binding than it is of a blood oath.
Yeah, you then become a blood traitor and we hunt you.
Nice.
So, we have a few Void Elf blood traitors at the moment who tell us like, oh, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
Have you had any campaigns involving Void Elves, actually?
Yes, kind of. So the Sanguine and I have a funny relationship with Void Elves because we have Void using members.
Yeah.
It was quite that Blizzard lore actually kind of sidelined us a bit because we have, for example, one of our surveyors, which is like junior officer rank, is big on the Void, a Raven Blackwood, and a Raven Slayer hosted this great little mini campaign kind of storyline, which was about the persecution of the Void users and the treatment they were getting in the banishments. So we have people in the guild who use Void magic, and so there is a kind of a sympathy of, wait, they're getting banned for using magic. Aren't we supposed to be like the masters of magic? The race who excels at it in all aspects. How can we banish these people? But the Void Elves who throw themselves in, like fully with the Alliance, then it's kind of like, oh, well, we see what... Yeah, exactly. We've had a run-in with Alaron Summerdrake and the Void Elves he has with him. And we've also fought the Lionheart, a fantastic Alliance roleplay guild, where some of our former members are Void Elves in there.
Yeah.
So we've had those interactions. In the Battle of Dazar Alor, we're going to see a few more, which will be fun. But it's a very conflicted but visceral relationship with them, which, though I sometimes question the thought process on making the Void Elves as a race on Blizzard's half, I do think there is some very fun ways to play with them and some really interesting characters and arcs you can make with them.
There are some interesting ways to take it, considering what we have so little of, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's always funny when you think of the fact that it's like, Illyria's crack elite squad, and it's like millions of them, so it can be a bit overwhelming at times.
It's a bit contradictory with the population, as we mentioned, and how it can continuously split like this and still have many on both sides.
Yeah, well, even with the Blood Elves, it's like, how many Blood Elf factions are we going to end up having? So few of us, stop it.
There'll be a light infused one soon, don't worry.
Oh god. So I'm so pro-Fel that whenever the light's mentioned, I have a little shudder of pain.
Tell us a little bit of adventures you've had with your guild, any that stand out that you'd like to mention?
What was your favorite campaign?
Yeah, campaigns, adventures.
I'd probably say the time our campaigns got really, in my opinion, very good and upped in quality was Draenor, Warlords of Draenor, mostly because despite some of the really questionable things about the lore in that period of Blizzard, what we did have was a really nice kind of like place to work with, and Blizzard not giving us much stuff, so we just had to make it all ourselves.
Yeah, we had plenty of time in our hands.
Yes, absolutely. So I really enjoyed the stuff through then, but I'd say my favourites would be Suramar. I loved our Suramar campaigns, mostly because I just really adore the Nightborn in Suramar, and I loved their storyline, and how we as the elf factions all came in to like help them, and then they ended up going on the side of the Blood Elves, which was Christmas for Talenthiel come early. I loved the Suramar campaigns. Argus is probably the best I think I've done. We did one in Meraki, where we actually used the planet hopping system that we see Blizzard using with the Legion worlds between the portals. We were hunting down a demon that had been one of our enemies since Warlords of Draenor. That was really fun, compelling campaign that ended with a very emotional high at the end. And we also just did one in Nazmir. We just finished a few days ago now. I was really happy with that one. But honestly, Blood Troll Swamp full of dark magic.
Nazmir is super creepy. It's set up for it.
Nazmir and Drustvar are such gorgeous, easy role-play hook-making zones. I love them, and Nazmir was really enjoyable. But those are the kind of DM'd campaigns, very heavy on terms of like me making plot lines and NPCs and stuff.
Yeah.
I also do really love a good RP/PvP campaign. Drums of War was phenomenal. I really enjoyed that. We were in Western Plaguelands, a lot of fighting with the Lionheart and a lot of other guilds. That was with the War Host, so Blood Knight Guard were there, the Sun Reavers, Crimson Vanguard, Eclipsing Blade before they disbanded. There was a lot of fun in that one. And yeah, I just like a good RP/PvP, especially with the new ways that we had that add-on, which was really useful, but that's gone now. But with the potions, being able to actually talk and emote at each other as you're fighting, it's just, it's so fulfilling, really enjoyable. So those, I think, are my favourites that we've had recently. But yeah, we do dabble occasionally in RP/PvP campaigns, but for the most part, it's the DM'd ones.
I'm not a fan of RP/PvP campaigns personally. Purely
they
because,
can go so... Sorry.
A lot of the ones that I've been involved in is mostly PvP and no RP. So
it's I can't
really
get behind
interactive.
it. I have to do the controlled stuff where it's like take a turn, like you hit each other, spell every 5 seconds, or if you're you have the add-on or the potion where you're actually emoting at each other. But I'm not a fan of just straight out PvP. It's just not for me. Like using war mode and stuff. It's too it's too PvP for me. There's not enough RP feeling to it.
I added some additional RP/PvP. I didn't host it in the recent campaign I did with the Crimson Compass, and it was basically just bonus objectives where there's obviously skirmishes going on between the Horde and the Alliance. We had we had people designated DM for that, which were doing pretty good, really. Apparently they portrayed the scenery, portrayed other obstacles around the area that people had to interact with, which sounds more interactive in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's the sort of stuff I'd love to do, like mini objectives that you can weave the RP/PvP around. That's kind of what we tried to do with our little Western Plaguelands corner of Drums of War, and I thought it worked really well.
Yeah.
But I just remember, I don't know if any of you remember the Borderlands campaign?
No.
Borderlands, oh my god.
I know, right?
That's a throwback.
Borderlands was
that
really...
was just after Alex left the Eye, and she had started, because she went to reform her house and stuff. So her and Talenthiel were sitting throwing shit at each other.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, it was Borderlands.
He was not happy she left.
Oh, no, he wasn't. He's
and less happy that she decided to start up a fucking multiracial house.
Oh, yeah!
Man, they do not get along. They are not friends.
No, they do not. But, Borderlands was what really gave me my addiction for a good server-wide RP/PvP campaign. Waywatcher, wherever you are, that was the real deal. That was so much fun. We had some versions afterwards that were good. I don't think they quite matched it. The Ashes of Draenor was great. Also really enjoyed the Iron Onslaught around the Warlords of Draenor launch. But yeah, Borderlands was the shit. That was great.
I think we peaked at Borderlands as a realm.
I thought, well, at least the Western Playgrounds corner of Drums of War was amazing as well. That was the closest
I wasn't at Drums of War, so I have no idea what happened to Drums of War.
I basically know
Borderlands was so good.
I basically with Drums of War, what I remember is Tirisful was doing good. Western Playgrounds, I loved. There was Silver Pain, I think it was called, which was having a bit of a catastrophe at times. But I did like it overall. It was really good fun.
All right.
So credit to the creators of that. I think Perroy was one of them, but it was a really good campaign. Lotharidon was the one I did a lot of planning with.
Would you care to tell us a little bit about your current member base?
Yeah, sure. So Talenthiel Sunshard is my character, and he's the leader. We've got second in command is Silvos Bloodcrest. Tal's kind of the politician, Silvos is the commander. Silvos has been with us for ages now as well. And he's a phenomenal guy. Icy, credible character, OOC, amazing person. Big support for me throughout these years. But he's he's gold-eyed. We have to forgive everyone for their flaws. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. But yeah, he's a Blood Knight. He kind of represents the Eyes more military side. The divide of the gold-eyed soldiers versus green-eyed magic side is actually quite prevalent throughout the Eye. So in our Oathbinders, we have Alviada Orivian, who is a warlock, one of Tal's apprentices who passed, one of his first great successful apprentices. And then we have Leilorial Dawncaster, who's a priestess, gold-eyed. So we kind of have that slight frictiony divide, but still they're united in the same goal. So there are Oathbinders. Then we have the Surveyors, who are like our kind of sub-officer side of things. We have Erthius Adamar, who's like our fast strider lieutenant, quick drinking, quick shooting kind of character. Raven Blackwood's our shadow priest, kind of in the spires, like shackles after what's happened with all the Void stuff, but really dark and compelling character. Valin Bloodthorn is another one of the kind of big warlocks in the Eye, kind of a charismatic, like schemy little character, really a fun one. And Nereal Sunfire, who's the kind of more warm, compelling mage character, who's one of the Surveyors as well. So we kind of cover, in the officership, we kind of cover all the corners of what Blood Elves do and represent in terms of classes and things, except monks, but they can rot in hell. Then kind of in our member base, I think the only class we don't accept, so you wouldn't see within the Eye, would be Death Knights, because we're just very anti-undead. Everything else, including Demon Hunters, we have a rank for the Illidari. Quite a lot of Illidari alt characters in the Eye. A few Nightborn ones. We've got Nightborns. They have a rank, kind of a seeing if they fit with the Eye's ideology and can fit in rank. But honestly, I'd love to have some more Nightborn in the guild. We only have kind of alt members at the moment, like with the Illidari, but Nightborn, I love them and I'd love to see more of them in there. But we have a wonderful bunch of members. We have Athel Nera, like this Ice Magistrix, she's fabulous. We have Vedrian, who's kind of we have a few golems in the Eye. He's kind of our golem person.
Vedrian comes and raids with us.
Does he? Oh my god, is he bad?
No, he puts up with us, so that's all we ask for.
Okay, fabulous. I just needed some stuff to use against him because he hosts the D&D group in the Eye that I'm a part of. So if I can have any dirt against him, I need it to keep my character alive. But then we have other characters such as Tal's apprentice Festus, former apprentice, she passed. She's fabulous, kind of a scarred warlock character. Tia Fala and her brother Caldemar. We have Eldonius, he's one of our senior magisters as well. Loves portals, great with portals. But overall, just I'm really happy with the bunch we have at the moment. A lot of loyalists at the moment, a lot of new people who are kind of currently aspiring towards getting the Blood Oath, and I'm really excited to see how they do. They did great in Nazmir, so that's always fun. But yeah, a nice mixture of mages, warlocks, could use a few more Blood Knights. A few more hunters. We've got a nice amount of rogues. It's a nice mix. No monks. We accept monks, but I just don't like them.
Alright. Well, if anyone wants to join as a Nightborn, there you go.
I'm
Yeah,
open to apprentices. Warlock Apprentice Nightborn, hit me up. Sorry. Plug. Oh, we also have a Blood Traitor at the moment. He's one of Tal's apprentices who's gone rogue, and we're going to get his ass. Don't you worry about it, Eritir.
Alright. Where does your guild hang out during downtime?
So mainly where we hang out is the Sanctum in Silvermoon, which is where the Warlock trainers are. One thing to make clear is we have no ownership of that. That is the Warlock place. That is where Warlocks go to train and learn their art and hone their craft. It just so happens we have quite a lot of Warlocks. So Talenthiel is down in the Sanctum because he likes being around the Fell. His apprentices are down there for similar reasons. So if anyone's down there and like, why is all the sound when I'm taking up my space? I'm down here to learn. You could say, look, give me some space, and we would. Because that is for the Warlocks of the Horde community to use. But otherwise, that is where we kind of go, sit around, talk, update, chat. We can have some of our BI is, because of the ideology, they can be quite cold people. Like Talenthiel is not the friendliest fella. Not the easiest to socialize with, but we do have some lovely members in as well who will be happy to chat and speak to people down there as well. So come on, come all, tap some fell, have a laugh.
There you go. Well, that concludes the questions at least, and leaves us with half an hour to talk about events, probably less since we kind of skimmed through them. There weren't that many Horde orientated ones and alliance orientated ones. It's more like neutral in general.
Well, I can drop in a Horde one.
Go for
Totally
it.
impromptu. Because we still haven't got our forum posts sorted out for the new website because we are terrible. But we are doing, I believe, a tavern night tomorrow night.
Alright.
There you go.
That is in Wayfarer's Rest.
Wayfarers at 9 p.m. server time.
The Oath of Silver have done an amazing job reclaiming Wayfarer's Rest. That place used to be scary. But yeah, the tavern
Now
night.
it's just empty, except us looming.
Honestly, that's an improvement. No, honestly, and if anyone's tempted, Blood Oath roleplayers or Horde roleplayers in general, the tavern nights at Wayfarer's Rest are great. So I'd strongly be like, yeah, go give it a go, have a drink. It's a nice one.
Alright, let me just put us staring at a burning Tundra Soul whilst I go through this. Right, we have the for an alliance event we have the Telogris. I can't even pronounce the name of the place. Telogris Rift Hours. That's basically the area for Void Elves on the 10th of February. It's a proposed gathering for Void Elves to just come together for Void research, teachings, combat trainings, trading, discussions, all sorts basically. Think of it as village hours basically.
For Void Elves.
For Void Elves. I mean, I don't think anyone else can access it unless a warlock physically summons you in there.
Can they even do that?
Yeah, apparently you can.
Oh, you can get non-void elves in Telogris.
I think you can, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's the Stormwind Poetry Association, which we spoke in the past, 8th of February. Same place as normal Stormwind Park. For the Horde, there is Rogmasha's ongoing Strength and Honor.
Pilgrimage, right?
Yeah, pilgrimage basically.
That one looks really interesting.
Essentially, it's a group of Horde who are kind of pushing themselves away from the current conflict and focusing more on the other areas that are having problems and coming together to fix the situations together, with all these different stories and different zones. I will put a link. I can't remember where the first area is, but I will put a link on the thread.
I think it's Felwood. God, I hope I'm not getting that wrong. Yeah, I think it's Felwood for the first area.
I can actually check. Oh yeah, Rogmasha is in Felwood, so there we go.
Would you look at that?
Good thing to have B-Tag. 1 to 2 week stayovers in different regions, it's good to have. a little adventure if you're not really wanting to stick into the cities. Alright,
Also, I imagine you can just pop in and out of different bits and pieces if you want to RP in certain areas that they happen to be in. You can
yeah,
bump into them.
you're not necessarily bound to them either, so you can pop in and out as much as you want. It's an open initiative. Someone's poking their heads onto my stream. Hello. Uh,
It's one of those great things where it really breathes life into zones that otherwise are kind of forgotten or neglected.
yeah.
So I love whenever people run that kind of initiative. So I think that's a really great one, especially to kind of show the tension that might be building within the horde. That some people, rather than like be bogged down in that, go and do what they can around, rather than like have to fall in line with Sylvanas or just sit on their hands and kind of be like distraught or upset about what's going on. They can actually go do something for the better.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'll probably. I'm in the frozen pour on one of my orcs, and I also have my goblin who's kind of strayed away from the horde after the whole burning tree part. She's like, nope, I'm out. But I could potentially pop in as well for those events. Neutral. Carnum's Glade Village Hours.
Neutral.
Yeah, there is. Carnum Glades Village Hours. I believe that's in Desolus. Someone wanted me to promote it during the. Yeah, it's in Desolus during the Crimson Compass campaign, but obviously I prefer to do it after it's over. It was on yesterday, but I believe there'll be more. Again, it's just village hours, so it's a social area to go.
Is it a Monday evening thing?
It is. I'm gonna have to check with that, but for now I'm gonna say yes. It's hosted by Carbeck, I believe. We have one of Sea of Ashes events, or a few of them here actually too, I think.
Just missed Oldham Nights.
Yeah, we just missed Autumn Nights. I could have, but you know, he does it often. It's a good thing to follow Sea of Ash if you're wanting to check up Autumn Nights. It's a big market area. Often a lot of people to interact with. You know, quite good. Windfarer's Revelry. This is a continuation of an initiative that Sea of Ash had with the Filthy Animal, which was a open bar run with occasional events to, you know, involve yourself with, but I believe he's opening up to both factions now with the options to have potions.
Is he doing it himself, or is the people that took over the bar doing it?
He's doing it himself.
Okay.
And he's doing it in the Lederman Lounge in Dalaran Legion. Which obviously again means both cross-faction can work out there if you want to socialise with other people. And next on the list we have the Lunar Festival.
Yes.
Hosted by Acrona. Which is on
I don't think I've ever been to that.
It's
I've been to a few of them.
It's pretty fun.
I honestly think they're amazing. I was at the one last year. I helped with some of the fireworks and stuff. But honestly, Acrona's server events, the ones that she hosts, are phenomenal. If anyone's not been to them, I'd strongly recommend going. Acrona does an amazing job of making a truly like living, breathing, atmospheric festival. You go there, there's stuff happening in every corner. There's people selling things. You can go. It's phenomenal for anyone who just wants to bump into random RP with anyone, just anyone who might be around at the time. They're truly amazing.
There's a lot
She
of
makes
things
a
to
proper
do as
show
well.
out of them. Oh yeah, so much.
Gonna have to go down to that one.
It's open to
Costumes,
both factions
content.
this year as well. So if you're a Horde and you missed out any of the previous ones, you can go to Moonglade this year and you know, join in the Lunar festivities. The only thing that's been requested is you keep the whole "I'm going to stab you" out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been really fun.
Honestly, yeah, they're great. So if anyone's considering, should I go to the Lunar Festival this year? I'd say give it a go. You will not be disappointed.
You can, I think there's a few new events, but I'll just name them as I go. The Moonkin Dance, I assume she's going to use the Moonkin statue to, you know, allow yourselves to turn the Moonkins and, you know, involve yourselves in that. Moonball Tournament, if anyone's familiar with the wand you get from Tan Jungle, where you can, you know, have a little, like, wizard duel, I guess, with another person. that is basically what it is. You engage in a little spa with that
I
first one who
tried that
gets.
last year. I was out first round.
I think I was
I
second
was
last in that
terrible.
in the one last year. Second last.
Goodness.
I can't remember. I might have gone out sooner. Uh, costume contest with which is the theme Agamagan, the boar, wild
Yeah.
god, fortune
The,
cookies. Right. She's also looking for some help with fireworks and effects, people to provide festive food and drinks. So if you want to help her out, give her a poke. Otherwise, it's on the 9th of February at 8 Realm Time in Moonglade, and you are starting out on outside the Storm Rage Barrow Dens. Okay, we have an event hosted by Swift Hand on his Pandaren Ziyun.
That's freelancers.
Yeah,
GM is?
that guild's gone now, but yeah,
Yeah. Originally.
they're hosting a sort of I think it's like a martial arts tournament in the cradle of Chi-Chi Krasarang Wilds. It is on the 15th of February, 19th. If you're interested in that, poke Ziyun. I'll provide a link, obviously, so you can check it out. There'll be a few tournaments, one for novice, one for intermediate, I guess, and experienced, and so on.
that sounds really cool. I hadn't seen about that one.
Another City of Ash event, the Love Festival,
It's that time of year, isn't it?
is there's mostly neutral events on February, actually, thinking about it. Every time, as far as I've been aware, at least. Love Festival, 16th of February, time 8 Realm Time to 10 o'clock Realm Time. It's a parade. It starts from a parade from Tian Monastery to the Temple of the Jade Serpent. As usual with Sea of Ashes events, there'll be a parade with to begin with, and there'll be like events pushed out for people to get involved with. It'll be provided in a link. I'll just check that out to list them out for you quick. If I copied and pasted everything, I'd be reading through it all. Oh no, apparently it seems this year is just a celebratory one. There is a costume theme, the Sakura ceremony, the Grand Gala, fireworks. That's pretty much it. There is a costume thing you can enter in, so once I provide a link you can read up on that. Check it out. Another event ran by Ziyun, Swift Hands, Pandaren, Cloud Serpent Racing. 17th of February. There was no time listed. It's in the Arbitorium Jade Forest. Essentially it is what it is, Cloud Serpent Racing. Otherwise I think that's it. There was one more thing I wanted to add actually, if I can find it on the forums quick.
Uh-oh.
That's a lot of Pandaria events, though. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Swift Hand's a big fan of Pandaren.
I can understand. I do love the Pandaren. They get too much flack.
I like them as well personally. I'm just not a big fan of the current role-playing, the community for it personally.
Oh, I can't say I'm particularly familiar with the community itself, but I thought they were one of the races Blizzard kind of. They made a full culture and society around for it. With
Yeah,
so many
no, it's
little
really
openings
cool.
you could work with.
Yeah. I think I had a Pandaren myself, which was from Kunlai, because Kunlai is my favourite area.
Oh, same. I love Kunlai.
And she was very spiteful towards the newcomers after what they brought to Pandaria, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, they kind of ruined everything.
Yeah.
And fuck shit up.
So she was
Kind of what we do.
she was always very rude to them.
I always thought it was so harsh how like the Shadowpan guy was. They were always like, "You need to learn to love and accept." It's like, didn't they arrive and enslave your children in Jade Forest? Like, I'd be angry.
I think a little bit of anger is probably okay in this situation.
I mean, that's and Horde as well. It was like kick them both out.
Yeah. Alright, I found it. For if anyone is a fan of WWE, someone's hosting a neutral Azeroth Wrestling Grand Prix, which is
Wrestling Grand Prix.
yeah. I don't know if you can sign up for it. I think you can sign up for it. It's essentially as it is for WWE, where they put on a show. They have this sort of bad guy represented, and
Is
all
it so
this-
lots of wild characters and like plot lines? And
yeah,
stuff?
I believe
Oh,
it's a
that
lot
sounds
like that.
Kind of hilarious, actually.
I know, I'm agreeing.
We had a we had a small event of that for because I represented bonus objectives on the Crimson Compass, and there was one of them was to basically befriend pirates, and they turned it into a going aboard their ship and having a little like wrestle on it, so they put on a show for it basically. It was pretty funny. Otherwise, I think that's it event-wise. If I've missed anything, I'm sorry.
Give us.
We do our best.
Yeah. Alright, well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, it was an absolute
Oh.
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Did you know that Valerin Dawnwhisper is terrified of you?
Tell me more.
No, you do.
Oh.
I don't know a whole bunch more than that.
Why are they
Just-
terrified? Please tell us.
I get a lot of people being kind of scared or intimidated or otherwise
I
like
know.
worried about Talenthiel, and then they hear me and they hear that I'm just a camp British guy, and it usually throws them. But all I want to say is please still be frightened.
Yeah,
I get a
sent
kick out of
around to speak to Talenthiel once, I think, and I think he was shitting bricks for about a week beforehand. And I was like, listen, if you just talk to him like one time, it will cure you of this.
No, please don't. No one else is going to be afraid of me. I may as well get it off the line.
I'm a fan of making terrifying characters. The one I'm on at the moment, her mother is quite a sharp like character. You know, really devoted herself to a loon. Thinks all arcane, fell necromancy is heresy.
Oh, you're like one of the super traditionalist Calderai.
Yeah,
Oh, I love them.
and
I play a highborn on Alliance side, and they are his favourite people to tease.
think of the disappointment for her when her daughter's a mage.
Oh! I can only imagine the conversation she had with her daughter when she came back from Arcane Lessons.
She disowned her, and
Oh,
I've
yeah.
written a few stories about it.
What's the character's name?
My character, this one I'm on, Ursia.
How'd you spell it? No, sorry.
Erica, but you switch her on the C and the I.
Just to confuse me. I'm sorry
Okay.
you did it just to confuse me.
Yeah, I have a few stories. I tend to share them on Discord, and I forget to update on Argent archives because I'm lazy.
I can relate.
And
My
plus,
Argent archives for Talenthiel is still in the middle of Legion.
yeah,
I will get there. I will get there.
if one thing I haven't updated on is her markings as well on the Argent archives, I think, where she
Oh, she
recently
got them now.
She's got more unique ones with her crew. She got a butterfly on her face basically instead.
Oh, that's a pretty one.
Alright, before I ramble on. Yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the guild interview. We put
You're
you
more
on
than
the
welcome.
spot.
It was a pleasure.
If you haven't followed already, please do so on Twitch. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so on YouTube as well, because this is where I'm going to upload it next. And there's also AD Creators Discord you can join. It's not just for my stream, it's for creators of Argent Dawn in general, you know, artists, musicians, literature, all that stuff. It's to help
Or for anyone that wants to pay out all those artists and
Yeah.
their commissions are open.
anyone
Oh,
who
I
wants
can
to follow
relate.
them as well. Yeah,
Give me that link.
let me copy and paste it into this chat.
Put that one in.
Anyone who wants to join it is welcome. It's pretty much just to help, also, help each other in the community as well. If anyone has any tips to help someone fix whatever problem they're having with their art or with their writing, whatever, that sort of community as well. I do have a Patreon as well, but that's obviously entirely optional. if you want to donate coin towards me doing this. Otherwise, that's it really. I don't think I missed anything else, have I?
Discord. I think we did everything.
Yeah.
Do we close with a song?
Remembered.
Oh, if you want to sing for us, go ahead.
No, goodness.
If you want to find out more about the Sanguinai, I believe you can find them on Argent Archives on their website, which we linked above, or you can just prod Talenthiel now that you know he's not so terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just throw me a whisper if you have any questions. Good questions.
Only good questions.
Only good questions.
You have to put the questions. You have to put the questions through his.
My guildies in the chat for not to specify. I'm not gonna lie.
You have to put the questions through his PA first, so she can, mark it off.
Yeah, just
before
forward
handing
them
over.
to my assistant.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
See ya.